Last night I had a thought. I recently revamped my website, and I'm in a position now where I need to advertise a little bit. And I figured if I share how I'm setting up my marketing campaigns, there's probably a lot of people that could benefit from that. A little golfing time. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how you can market your website for $99. Now, we're going to keep it super simple. Oh, super simple, you say? Well, full disclosure, this first round of ads did not go very well at all. As a matter of fact, it was pretty much a complete failure. Here's the problem. In my attempt to keep things super simple, I skipped over a lot of the normal steps that I would typically go through when I'm working on ads for a customer. The good news though is that because the test was awful, I now have a very solid and low baseline that we're gonna fix. So I wanted to get the ads started right away so that I could go on a weekend RV trip with some buddies. Which is important. Make sure you always make time to go do stuff, guys. But I thought I was gonna triple my investment right away. I had some pretty unrealistic goals. Ultimately, what this showed me was that instead of doing one quick video on marketing a website, we needed to do a series of videos where I show you the things that I would typically do for a customer, and again, the things that I'm gonna do to fix my awful baseline. I don't like it when people just post the highlights. This was a failure, and I wanted to share it because there's still a lot of information in here that's valuable, and it's gonna segue into the next several videos that we're gonna put out in the series as I go about fixing one thing at a time, piece by piece, and I'm gonna share that with you guys as we go. This is the first in a series of videos that I'm gonna put together. Now, please excuse the horrible lighting. As you can see, it's nighttime, and I really wanted to start working on this right now. Now, when I say simple, I mean we're gonna take $99 and we're going to probably spend the vast majority of that on ads. And I'll talk about some of the prerequisites and some of the things that you're going to need, but we're not going to do anything like heat mapping. We're not going to do anything like retargeting. We're not going to do anything like A/B testing. As we go through and we do new versions of this and improve upon it, I'm going to teach you step by step how those things can be added in so that your marketing can become more effective. But for this first round, we're just going to keep it really simple. I recently redid my website, and there's several reasons for that, and I'm going to show you just real briefly what those differences are. This is my recently updated site. One of the things that I always tell people is that you need to show your visitors within 3 seconds what it is that you do, or they're going to bounce, they're going to leave. I am a partner at a premium website design and development firm. The team is 7 strong. My partner and I work on websites all day, every day. And then I consult with other customers. So, we don't offer consulting and things like that through the Hauser Design Group because we want to stay niched at least to one specific set of services. So my separate site here is based on consulting. I help people make their websites better. I help website owners turn window shoppers and tire kickers into paying customers. So when somebody comes to my site right now, it literally says, fix your site. I'm going to help you fix your site. The main calls to action all revolve around booking a call. Here's our intro message. Please book a call. Here's a real quick summary of me. Book a call. Here's a couple trust indicators. Here's some people I've worked with over the last 18 years. Do you have these issues? Like, is this something that resonates with you? Book a call. Here's a case study of a gal that I worked with. Book a call. Here's some freebies. If you're not ready to spend any money, but you're interested in what's going on here, you can sign up. Here's more trust indicators, reviews, and testimonials. Talks about people I've worked with. Talks about the reviews that we've gained at the Hauser Design Group, the team that I've helped put together, what we've done over there. Down here, we get into helpful articles and resources. And then right here, this goes to the blog. And then in the footer, there's just another reminder to sign up, get some free stuff. If we go to Wayback Machine here, and this is a cool tool. If you just Google Wayback Machine, this will come up. You can search your site, and you can go back several versions. So this was the previous site, and wish your website was more effective. Okay, well, that's kind of vague. This is a lot more confusing. So
This call to action is not super strong. Get free access now. Free access to what? And it talks about the book that I wrote, which is currently being rewritten and updated. There's all this stuff talking about how to get traffic for your site. That's something a lot of people are interested in. Hey, get free access again. Okay, here's all about AJ. Here's a big picture. Need a custom plan. Okay, here's some trust indicators down here and some more testimonials. Here's another big picture. It's just not really simple and to the point. So this is the old site. And again, this is the new site where it's much more direct. And so now that I've made all these updates to the site, I want to market it. I don't want to invest thousands of dollars, but I want to at least start to see a return on the work that I put into the site. We're just going to see if we can turn $99 into $300. And actually, let's talk about a couple things that we're going to need. Prerequisites. A couple things that you're going to need. We're going to assume that you have a good product or service. That's critical. We're going to assume that you have some sort of website. And we're going to assume that your positioning and messaging are not terrible. If you are interested in learning more about that, I'm going to link to a blog below. So check that out. So those three things. You have a good product or service, you have a website, and you have some good positioning and messaging. My product or service, I sell consulting. I'm going to be going after website owners, people that want their websites to work better. Essentially, my product at its core is I'm trying to sell a 1-hour consulting session. The next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set some goals, because if we aren't measuring this, then we don't know if it's been successful or not. My goals are pretty simple right now. Like I said, we're going to keep this simple. I want to sell 2 1-hour consulting calls at $150 an hour. I want to get 15 people to sign up for my email marketing list so that I can continue to stay in touch with them and build my audience and nurture them into customers over time. And I want to test my new homepage and see if it's effective at all. There's been all these changes that have been done to the site, and I want to know if it was worthwhile or if there's issues with it. Another interesting goal that I have is I want these customers to come from out of state. I'm in Illinois, I'm by Chicago. So I'm going to be targeting Wisconsin, maybe a few other states that are close, but not so close that people expect me to come visit with them in person. I love doing that. I love meeting with my customers in person, and I do on-site visits all the time, but that's the thing, I do them all the time, and they're time consuming. So with these new customers, I'd like to focus on people that I can do video chat with, people that I can do phone calls with, so I can still provide them maximum value, but my time investment is as small as it can possibly be. And the next thing that we're going to want to talk about is setting some limitations. And we're also going to want to talk about how I changed my shirt so quickly from orange to blue. Well, it's magic. I've had a couple days to think about this. I want to put a couple of more parameters in place so that my goals and my limitations are very clear, because I want to be able to repeat what works and I want to test things that don't work, but I want to know where those changes actually have an impact. So it's important that we define these things. Now, there's 7 for this project, and they're as follows. This is round 1 of several. I'm going to do several rounds of advertising and improve upon it and share new tools and new techniques with you guys as we go. But this first round, the total budget must not exceed $99. The total length of the campaign is going to be 7 days. Business from referrals and from organic traffic to the site can't count towards my goals that I'm trying to hit. I'm going to run 3 ads with the same image that all have different text. They're all going to point to my homepage because, again, I'm trying to test the effectiveness of my homepage, but I don't want ads with different pictures and a different text. I want to find the text that resonates with my audience the best this first round. This round is going to remain super simple. We're not doing retargeting. We're not doing heat mapping. We're not doing A/B testing. We're not doing anything like that. It's a very simple traffic campaign. Finally, my price will remain at $150 an hour. Now, you might be asking yourself, why were these limitations selected? And that's a very good question. Here's why. The small budget forces me to think about everything that I'm doing, and it also makes this course more accessible to everyone. You know, these principles can apply to a $1,000 budget. They can apply to a $5,000 budget, but not everybody has that much money to spend on ads. And as I mentioned before, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a week-long ad campaign and get all sorts of leads. I want a couple of quality leads. It's not always about spending the most amount of money. It's about hitting the goals that you set for yourself. The 7-day time frame is a good match for my small budget. Plus, I want to learn more about my site quickly so that I can turn around and do round 2. So 7 days is a good testing period. Obviously, the day-to-day traffic that hits my site can't count towards my goals. We want it to remain separate so that we can learn. I want to find the text that resonates best with my audience. Once we find the text that works best, then we'll pair that with different images for round 2, but we'll see when we get there. Next, when it comes to starting, start simple, but just make sure that you start. Start, evaluate, improve, repeat. Just start. You know, this video is not made using the most high-tech camera. I shot the first part at night with horrible lighting. It's okay though. I want to get this content out because I think there's value here, and the quality and all of that, you know, we'll work on that as we go. But I'd rather get something good put together and put out than get analysis paralysis where I wait and wait and wait. We don't want to do that. Don't you do that. Make sure you just start. Finally, I'm not going to reduce my rate. I don't want to condition new leads and new customers into thinking that I'm going to offer an introductory rate or a discount, or even that my rate is negotiable, because it's not. So I'm looking for people that are ready and willing to invest in their business, that can set some goals with me, and we can all focus on the goals. You know, not to mention, pricing says a lot about the value of something. Let's say, for example, you have 2 toasters, and this toaster sells for $9.99, and this toaster sells for $99.99. Which toaster do you automatically think is better? Which toaster do you think is more durable? Which toaster do you think is going to last longer? Be honest. 99% of you would say the $99 toaster, not the cheap one. So we're looking for good quality leads. We're not looking for people that are looking for cheap. And so pretty much by this point, we know the plan, the initial plan for round 1. Like I said, since the budget is so small, it makes sense to try to spend the full $99 completely on ads. Those ads should generate traffic, and everything that I can do in-house, I need to try to do in-house. Okay, cool. I set the goal of selling 2 one-hour consulting sessions because those go for $150 an hour at this point. That's going to go up over time. Right now, that's going to result in $300 gross. That's going to give me a return on ad spend of 3 to 1 or 300%. Now, just real quick, the way that you evaluate return on ad spend, it's your total profit divided by your total ad spend, and then you take that number. So 300 divided by, I'm just going to say 100 for simplicity. 300 divided by 100 is 3, times 100 is 300%. So 3 to 1, 300%. Note that this is a little bit different than calculating ROI, which is kind of a different thing. So just wanted to point that out. I'm not really going to get into that right now. But what this means is that for every dollar that I spend, I should be generating $3 in revenue. Now, it's important to figure this out and get this dialed in, and here's why. We need like a drum roll or something, because this is a big important part. Marketing is not an expense unless it's not working. If it costs you $1 to make $2, then you need to do that as many times as you possibly can without dropping orders, without losing customers, because that's just the cost of doing business. I want you to take a second, rewind the video, watch that again, because it's critical that you get that mindset, that you have that. It costs money to make money. Now, that doesn't mean you spend frivolously, because you don't. But if it costs you $1 to make $2, you need to spend as many dollars as you can, make as much money as you can, and just continue to turn the faucet up, repeat the process, and get better and better and better. Magic. You just want to get better and better and better and repeat the process as many times as you can. So marketing is not an expense unless it's not working. That's a good line. I think that's pretty good. That might be one of my things. One of my other goals, you probably remember, is that I want to get 15 new email subscribers. I have 200 email subscribers right now, and I want to increase that audience with each round of marketing that I do. I also currently have 0 YouTube subscribers. This is the first video that I'm doing for this new channel, so it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the ads themselves. We're also going to talk real briefly about why I changed my shirt again. It's magic. About a week has passed. I designed the ads. I ran the ads while I was on an RV trip. And then I came back and I looked at the results. We're going to cover all of those things pretty quickly because I skipped over some tools and steps that I would go through with customers that I really need set up on my site. Start over. All right. And you're going to need them set up on your site. So we're going to go through those things in the videos that come out. We're going to talk about those improvements, and then we're going to rerun our test. So we have a baseline now. We'll get into all that. The ads themselves, there's just a couple things that I was trying to do here. I wanted to design a thumb stopper. A thumb stopper is anything that will grab attention on a mobile device and actually get you to stop scrolling. That's very important. You want to design something that's striking, that actually gets some attention. I wanted to use relevant text so that my ad had a high relevance score with Facebook. Now they just changed this. They broke it into, I think, 3 different categories. We'll see those in the results. We're going to present a very clear value proposition, and we're going to present a very clear call to action. Now, I'm going to pull up my screen here real quick. Since I only have $99 for this test, I want to put all of that towards the ads themselves. I don't want to spend money on stock images and things like that. I grabbed this gal off Pixabay. They have okay images. I took that and I dropped that into Photoshop, airbrushed her, cut out the background, made it Facebook blue, and then I made her orange, which is a contrasting color to blue, so that she would actually stand off of the background. And then I added a little bit more, icons and things like that around her head. I want to show frustration, and these ads are written in a way that we're trying to get people that just, they want help. They've had enough. They want some help. Now, I mentioned Photoshop. That's not a free tool. There is an online tool called Photopea, I believe is how you say it. And it lets you do a lot of the basic Photoshop edits and things like that right in your browser. So we'll do a follow-up video on that at some point. But if you're looking for some photo editing software, check that out first, because there's no cost to that. There's ads and things like that. If you have Photoshop, great. If you don't, check that out. So that allowed me to keep my budget at $99. I didn't have to buy Photoshop. I used it because I already have it for work. But if I didn't, I would use that site. We used the same image with 3 different types of text, and I was trying to find the text that resonated best with my audience. One is based on frustration. One's based on embarrassment. One is based on wanting more sales. I'm not going to read these to you out loud. You can check them out on the blog. There's a link down below. I don't want to bore you just by reading this. What we're doing here is we're trying to make an emotional connection with people that are frustrated. Now, the audience, this is where you can start having fun and you can start going after specific people. I'm in a position where, even though I have, I think, something like 200 people on my email marketing list, I didn't want to use that to create a custom audience and then a lookalike audience, because even though those people are interested in my content, they're not necessarily interested in purchasing from me, nor have they all purchased from me. It might also be interesting to experiment with the customers that we have at the Hauser Design Group, but those are more people that are looking for specifically website design and development, because that's what we do. They want technicians. So I don't think that's who I'm trying to reach either. There were a couple of big things that I wanted to do when I set up a new audience. I wanted to target men and women between 30 and 60. We're looking for people that are interested in platforms like WordPress, BigCommerce, Shopify, Magento, even Joomla or Drupal, and that might have a job title that would mean they're working on the site, so like a website editor. We did decide to exclude people that were website designers and website developers, because I think a lot of those people are going to want to do it themselves. They're not going to be looking for a consultant that's going to help them on their site. They're going to want to just do it themselves. We went with Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, Wisconsin. I'm targeting states that are next to where I'm at, because I want to find people that are far enough away that I don't have to drive and see them all the time, but they're close enough that I could, if it was worthwhile. I don't want to necessarily do meetings. And so that's what we ran. So again, I mentioned, got that started. I took off on an RV trip, and then I came back, and here's some of the results. The results were pretty bad. I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. When I got back, I was under the impression that, I'd have 50 new email subscribers, and I was going to have a couple of people that had signed up for consulting calls. And I think if I'm going to promote the email subscribers, I need to put an offer in front of them that's specifically geared towards them. I don't need to just direct people to my homepage and hope that, they also sign up for the email marketing list. That's not going to happen. I need to create some content that is going to be specifically useful for people that would be willing to sign up in exchange for that content. So that's going to be something that we're going to do. The other thing, though, was the results were not especially great on this ad. And I'm going to pull some of those up, some of the most important ones. So let me go back to share my screen here. So this was an expense. My average cost for landing page view was $2.36. You can see over here my quality ranking, my engagement ranking, my conversion rate ranking were pretty bad. Everything was below 35%. Total, I had 42 people click over to my site, and I had something like, I don't know, 72 total link clicks. Now, one thing I didn't think about, there's a lot of people that don't click on ads on Facebook because they don't want to leave Facebook. I didn't have my personal Facebook page optimized. That's one big mistake that I made. I also didn't have a landing page that was really tailored to people that were coming over or to people that were on a mobile device. That's something else that we're going to have to spend a lot of time on. Start over. All right. The reason, though, was because I wanted to test my homepage. Well, here's the biggest problem that I had with all of this. I got 42 people to hit my site. It was a little bit more expensive than I thought it would be, but I don't know what those people did when they got there. Now, I can go into analytics and I can see where they clicked around to a little bit, but I don't have any session recordings, and I don't know if any of those people clicked on book a call, which is my biggest call to action on the site, and then ran away or didn't follow through with it, because then I was immediately asking for a transaction. I was asking for money. I had one person contact me that I think came from this campaign, but I don't know for sure. And she filled out the contact form, and that actually turned into a sale. Essentially, that's an agreement that we're starting up now this coming week, but I can't directly attribute it to this campaign, so I'm not counting it towards the goals. So again, my goals were 2 consulting calls and 15 email subscribers, and I got a total of 0, maybe 0.5, because I'm not 100%. But I got 0 consulting calls, I got 0 email subscribers, and I don't know what people did when they got to my site. I don't know what they clicked on. I don't know if they engaged with anything. This was a huge failure. It was an expense. And again, I've said this before, but the reason that I'm sharing it is because there's value here. I thought I knew something and I was going to cut some corners and we were just going to be off to the races. And I got a little bit of humble pie. So what this is going to turn into now is a series where I go through piece by piece. I make an adjustment and I run the test. I make an adjustment and I run the test. So we have a really good, crappy baseline to build from. And I'm going to be building that. But this is also good because the more I thought about it, when people contact me, they're not necessarily in a position of strength. There's 2 types of people. They're either making a bunch of cash and they want to increase it. They want to take it to the next level. Or there's people that they haven't quite got things rolling yet. Or they have things rolling, and let's say they've made 1,000 sales and they've validated their product. They're getting into Facebook ads and they just can't seem to get any sort of return on them, and they don't know what to do next. So this puts me in that same boat where I'm going to go through those steps and we're going to make improvements and we're going to get it figured out. So again, just to summarize, there's some additional things that went right. There's some additional things that went wrong. There's things that we can gain from this, and I added some more notes on the site. There's a link to the blog below this video along with the next steps. So if you want to keep up with that, make sure to add your email to the email list on my site. Get notifications when new videos or new blogs come out. You can also subscribe to this channel. I invite you to do so. We're going to start building this together, and I'd like you to be a part of that. But right now, I have some thinking to do, so I'm going to go kayak. See ya.
That just went by, and those are headed towards me. So I'm going to back up now and put